What's going on, everyone? I'm going to say this in the words of Chad Jensen. We're going to let it breathe here, get everybody in. This is a brand new show here at Mile High Huddle. Some of you may be thinking, who is this person? Who is this face that we see here? So I'm really excited to introduce myself. Welcome in, everybody. This is Beckoning the Broncos. I'm your host, Kim Becker. I'm so excited to be here. This is an all new, brand new show here at Mile High Huddle where I give my take on the Denver Broncos. Of course, we'll break down a topic and then we'll bring some of you guys in here as well, start chatting with you guys. But I am just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's early for some of you. You may be getting ready for work. You may be on your way to work, or you're just coming to hang out with me. Maybe you're in a later time zone. I know we've got a lot of fans across the pond as well in other countries. So I just want to appreciate everybody here to come and watch my first show. I'm going to do a little bit of an introductory concept on me and then on the topic that I think is going to be really important for the Denver Broncos and for this upcoming season. Of course, we're all very excited about Russell Wilson and what he's going to bring to the team, what he's going to bring to the Denver Broncos, the energy around the team, right? Nathaniel Hackett's culture change that he's bringing into Denver there and just the energy that he has with the team too. So we're really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be here, and also a new show concept where I'm the only host. So I really want you guys to interact with me. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. Please send me questions. We've got the DWI guys coming in here already. Thank you so much. I'm going to remember you always for being that first comment. We've got Jeremy Sean. Thank you. Inaugural showtime. That is right. This is Beckoning the Broncos. Like we said, my name is Kim Becker. So a little play on words there. Hope you guys like it. Kim is a boss. Ashton already in here. So glad she has her own show and we'll be crushing it on Wednesdays. I mean, I sure hope so. You guys are here to tell me if I am crushing it or if I'm not. So without further ado, we'll kind of get going here on the topic that I want to break down, because I'm sure you guys have some thoughts on what I think here. I hope you do. I hope that's why you're all here anyways. So if you guys were watching the Huddle Up podcast on Monday night with Chad and Zach, I came on and I did a little guest spot to promote this show and to also just explain why I am so excited about the Denver Broncos this upcoming season. And I took a little step away from the season or covering the Denver Broncos last year because I was so submerged in college football. I work for a college football program now on the inside, which is something that has really been so eye-opening to how these athletes train and how much work they put in. And when you're covering a team from the outside, you get to make so many different analysis and observations. And obviously you're passionate about it, right? And I'm so passionate about the Broncos, and I'm also passionate about the team that I work for now. But being able to be on the inside and see the work that these guys put in has been so eye-opening. And I think that the one thing that the Broncos, and well, maybe there's more than one thing, but one of the main things that the Denver Broncos were missing the last several years was the mentality of their leader. I think Russell Wilson coming in here, he had a mental strength coach, a mental conditioning coach for over a decade, and Trevor Moawad. He unfortunately passed away last September, and I'm sure some of you have seen the press conference that Russell Wilson did with the Seahawks after that happened, and many people said that was the most emotional that they've ever seen him. And he talked about emotions, and him and Trevor talked about how you have to keep your emotions at bay. And the concept that they really broke down for Russell, for him to succeed with whatever team he was going to be on, however he was going to play when they first met back in 2010, was neutral thinking. And Russell Wilson says, negativity always works. Positivity can be dangerous, but negativity always works, and negativity always wins. So if you're going to think in a negative mindset at any point, or if you're going to let the circumstances around you or the situation around you affect your mentality and only think negativity, you will always go in that direction. And so that's something that he says you have to be able to put yourself in neutral when anything is going on around you that's a challenge or that's a hardship. Russell Wilson was drafted by the Rockies back in 2010, I guess it was, right? And I think it was June 8th, 2010. He was drafted by the Colorado Rockies. He was playing baseball. And then June 9th, 2010, his father passed away. And he said it was the high of highs and the low of lows. And he had to be able to put himself in neutral and get through those challenges. And that was where Trevor came in. And Trevor, the first day that they met, he said, Russell Wilson's going to be different. And Russell Wilson said, why? He's like, I know why I'm going to be different. I know why I'm going to be the separation here. But why do you think I'm going to be different? And Trevor said, because of your mind. And that's what we're going to work on. And that aspect right there is what the Denver Broncos, I think, have been lacking for the last few years, because they need a leader with confidence, right? They need that veteran leader. Obviously, we're all excited for a veteran QB to come in here and to show this team, lead this team into what potential they have. Because as we all know, the Broncos are stacked in so many of their position rooms right now, right? They needed this leader in Russell Wilson. So that neutral thinking is something that I think is going to be so important. And bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, this new head coach who has an energy that Vic Fangio maybe didn't have. Vic Fangio had a lot of other things, but he didn't have this energy and this hype and emotion around the team. And I think that that is so important. Dave's hopping in here. Dave, you're giving me the orange and the blue hearts. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate all of you. I'll take a little minute here. If you're coming in here and you're like, what the heck is this show? Who is this person? I am Kim Becker, and this is Beckoning the Broncos. It's going to be a new show here on Wednesday morning. Really excited to be here. Really excited to have you guys interact with me because it's going to be a show where it's just me. I'm the only host here. So I would really love it if you guys shoot me some questions. We can talk about me too. I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into this topic and why it's so important to me as well. But just want to thank all of you guys for being here. Jeremy, it's true. Leadership is a big ingredient when it comes to the chemistry of a successful team. Huge ingredient. Honestly, foundation. Leadership, if you don't have, I mean, think about all of these college players who are drafted or who are free agents who are coming in like signing undrafted, and they were like so excited for that day, maybe thinking they were going to get drafted and put on a team, and then they weren't. And they're like, okay, that's a little bit of a letdown, but they have this opportunity. And how are they going to go into this new team with a veteran QB? There's so much pressure around the Denver Broncos, so much hype because of Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett coming in here and changing it. How are these new players going to come in here and adapt? They need leaders on this team. And of course, Russell Wilson will be the leader for the whole team, but he can't be the leader for every single person and every single day. So his leadership has to bleed over into the other veteran players. And then that leadership has to bleed over until to the team as a whole, to the new guys. So it's just going to be really exciting to see. I know we're all really hyped up for that first game. That's going to be the big one. Thanks for the TED Talk recommendation the other day. Solid listen. Made Russell feel less cheesy and more real. I completely agree, Ashton. There have been times, right, where you, from a Denver Broncos standpoint, when you're watching the Seattle Seahawks the last few years, you're like, all right, whatever. What's this hype around Russell Wilson? He never looks excited. He never looks happy. Well, it's because he was in that neutral thinking, right, when he was out there playing, when he was out there dealing with what he had to deal with out on the field and maybe what was happening to his team, because the Seattle Seahawks had a lot of challenges last year. Russell was hurt for the first time, missed so many games last year because of that. His only losing season with the Seahawks was last year, but that was because he was injured. He didn't play. So look at that, guys. If we keep Russell Wilson upright this year and we keep him healthy, that neutral thinking and that mindset is going to help the entire team so much. So it's really exciting. And the reason why I think this is so important, besides me working on the inside of a football team right now and seeing how hard these athletes work and seeing how they have to train their mind, they have to train their body, they watch film, they spend time in meetings. I mean, they dedicate their entire lives to this. They dedicate their physicality and their mentality to this. And you have to, because if you're performing at that level, you have to be able to meet all of those standards and all of those bars. But the reason why I love it so much and love the mentality side of things is because I grew up as a competitive ice skater. And doing that, it was an individual sport, right? Where I was competing against myself all the time. I was practicing every single day. Sometimes I would do 2 a days. I would go 5 a.m. and go skate. My mom would pick me up, take me to skating at 5 a.m. She would go run around Wash Park because I grew up in Denver. And then she would pick me back up at the University of Denver, take me to school. And then she would come back after school and take me back to skating. So I would skate twice a day sometimes, only for a handful of opportunities throughout the year to show what I had in those competitions. And I relate to football players in that sense, where football players during the season and in the off season, they really only get 2 months off in the entire year, if that. And then they're also training and they're training their mind. They work so hard behind the scenes, and we only get to see those 17 games, right, in the regular season. We only get 17 chances, 60 minutes, 17 times to see how hard they're working and to see the work that they're putting in. And that is why that mentality is so important, because if you get inside of your head, then you're going to go and blow those very small opportunities throughout the year. Mark, congrats on the new show. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I hope you guys aren't like, why is she rambling so much? And why does she keep talking? But the reason is it's just me here. Kim Becker, this is Beckoning the Broncos. I appreciate you guys all so much. I know Mile High Huddle, Huddle Up Podcast, Broncos for Breakfast, Building the Broncos. There's so many shows here that have such a loyal audience. And I hope to have the same, the DWI guys. Oh my gosh, already on the board. Congrats on the new show. Broncos Country loves more Broncos talk. We got the right guy at QB. Okay, well, you guys are the right guy, the DWI guys. You know what you're talking about. You some heroes there. Are we across the pond? I love that. Okay. Yes, so much the right guy at QB was so important. And it's funny, I always have a different take, I think. So I don't know if some of you guys know, but I used to host Kelberman's Corner with Zach Kelberman back in the day, a little over a year ago for a little while. And I would always try to put a positive approach on things because there was a lot of talk, down on Pat Shermer, down on Vic Fangio, down on Drew Lock. And I'd play the devil's advocate with Zach a little bit and be like, okay, Zach, but let's look at the positive. Let's look at Drew Lock. He's got opportunities, this and that. But it is so true. To have the right guy at quarterback really does bring a new light to this team, a new hype to this team, and the leadership skills, right? That's what I was talking about for the first few minutes there, is that leadership coming from the quarterback position is so incredibly important. And to now have Nathaniel Hackett also be in there, a rookie head coach, but he's been under Matt LaFleur the last few years, who also had a fantastic rookie go at a head coach stretch there with the Green Bay Packers. And you look at Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers and their chemistry back at the Packers. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are very different, but I do think they have a similar mentality because they are so present. Remember that first game, the Aaron Rodgers and the Packers blew, right? Well, he went up at his press conference afterwards and he goes, it's one game. And did you see what he did for the rest of the season? And that's something that I think Russell Wilson also practices, that neutral thinking, that only focusing on the now, not thinking about what happened in the past and thinking about what's going forward. And I think Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson are going to have some awesome chemistry right there, along with the rest of the team. And obviously, we know Russell Wilson's got a lot of weapons on the offense there in that running back room, that wide receiver room. We could talk about the wide receivers all day, right? We've got Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick. It's going to be really exciting. Broncos Sunrise coming up. Broncos Sunrise. I like that name with a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I know it's early on a Wednesday morning, but hey, it's never too early for Broncos talk, and that's why we're here. I appreciate you, Broncos Sunrise. Thank you so much. We don't see all the work that's being put in the week of practice. I see Jamie popping in there later too. No, we don't. And that is something that's, again, I've said this, but it's been so awesome to be on the inside of a college or of a football program, a college football program, to see that. And I know in the NFL, it's just heightened, right? And because it's these guys' lives, it's their livelihood, it's their lifestyle, it's everything that they do. Chris, morning, go Broncos. Chris Hernandez coming in there. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. This is so fun. I could feel like I could do this all day. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I could. You guys, this is so much fun. I appreciate it so much. All of you joining in here. London, pounds, the DWI guys. I said euros out loud and I was like, I think that's pounds. Give you a little backstory here because I skated with Disney on Ice for 10 years, grew up a competitive ice skater, like I said, went to high school in Denver, and then went straight to Disney on Ice. So I've actually spent so much time over in England and the UK and in Europe. I spent 5 years touring Europe. And so when I said that out loud, I had to take myself back because pounds. I did see that, the DWI guys coming in there with the pounds this morning. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated from across the pond. I miss London. I hope you're going to the game, the DWI guys. You going to that Jaguars Broncos game? I sure hope so. Jeremy, you've got some questions about Disney on Ice. I love that. What costumes was I in? I was in so many. Where do I even start? So I was hired as Queen Clarion from the Tinkerbell movie. I'm very tall for an ice skater. I'm 5'8". So I played a lot of the mom characters, a lot of the queen characters. So that was a really exciting way to get my foot in the door there with Disney on Ice. And then I loved it. I was going to do it for 1 year when I was 18 and then go to college. And after my first year, they offered me the West Coast contract, and that would mean I would go play Denver, and all my family would get to come, and my friends would get to come. I played the Pepsi Center at the time. It's now Ball Arena. And I was like, I can't say no to that. And then my third year, they offered me Japan. And I was like, all right, what? So I stayed for a third year. And then the fourth year, they offered me Europe, and I just kept going and going and going. So it was really awesome. Time of my life. 10 years. I've been to 45 countries with Disney on Ice. But hey, I'm trying to figure out a way if I could get back to London. I know I can, fortunately, because I work in college football, but I would love to go to London to watch the Jaguars and the Broncos. So the DWI guys, yes, try to arrange a meet and greet. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I should try. Zach and Scott and other Broncos fans, right? We need to get everyone to London. I am so down. If we could figure that out, that would be amazing. Oh, Lawrence, Kim, glad to have you back. Lauren's popping in there with that comment. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. It was hard to be away. I watched these guys while I was away and not working with them. And, there's something in me for the past 6-8 months where I was like, I should just see what they're up to. I can make time. I can make time for that. I love this team. I love the team at Mile High Huddle. I love these guys. They were the first guys to give me my shot in sports media. And so I'm really excited to be here. I know that there's just so much hype around the team and what a good season. We've watched the the team have struggles the last few years. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of this season. And I know the schedule is going to be tough at the back end there. They've got a tough last 7 games or so. I know Cynthia Freeland only predicted them to have 9 wins, which we want to hear a little bit more of. I know she had Cynthia Freeland on the NFL Network. I watch the NFL Network a lot, and I really love watching here and hearing her because she's got such a math brain, and she really breaks it all down with a bunch of different analytics when it comes to the win percentage. And I think that she does so many things, and I could not even get into that, right? So I would not even be able to figure out how she equated all of it. But I think she had around 9 wins, which it still puts them in the playoffs, but I would predict that the Broncos have a few more wins than that. I'm going to predict around probably 11 or 12. I know they might be shooting for the stars here, and I know we're all excited, but I'm going to shoot for probably 11 wins here. 11 and 6 kind of sounds nice. I'm a fan. Beckoning Broncos, I'm in. Jamie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody being here this morning talking about the Denver Broncos. Something else that I love hearing is Nathaniel Hackett's background, right? Have you guys really broken down Nathaniel Hackett's background and how smart he is? He was in school to be a doctor, and then he realized one day that no one was having fun in those classes. And that's why he was like, wait a second, I want to go to football. He was a linebacker and he was playing, but he was like, when he's hitting all his friends around the team and he's out there on the field and they're doing everything together, bunch of brothers out there, teammate, that team aspect. He said, this is fun. This is what I want to do. And that's what, even though he was studying to be a doctor his whole life, and that's where he was going to school for at UC Davis, he was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go play football. And I think that's something else that the Denver Broncos have been lacking, that fun aspect. I think that's huge. I think culture around the Denver Broncos, culture around any team has to be so intact, and it has to be fun. Everything that you do has to be fun, right? Life is short, but life has to be fun. And I think that, yes, you can be focused. Yes, you can train your mind to have that neutral thinking like Russell Wilson does and be in that mindset. But I do think that there has to be fun around it. And think about how excited Nathaniel Hackett was when Russell Wilson got the job. PhD in fun, Jeremy. I agree. A PhD in fun. Honestly, can I get that? I'm like, I'll be Dr. Fun any day now. I was actually at La Loma in Castle Rock having lunch with some friends when I heard the news, when they broke the news on TV that Russell Wilson had signed the Broncos. And my goodness, I mean, that place exploded. I exploded. I was with 2 of my girlfriends. One of them just had a baby. So she was like, what are you doing? But they're both Broncos fans. But I was like, are you kidding me? And I stood up in the booth and I was like, we got Russell Wilson. And everyone was so excited. And it was the best feeling. And even that initial feeling, and then seeing Nathaniel Hackett come on and we got Russell Wilson, like how excited. I mean, that right there, it shows your team how excited. It brings the fun back to the Denver Broncos. And yes, this is a new show, Big Cat Gold. Hello, welcome in. I'm also hoping to bring a little more fun to the Denver Broncos. I know you guys have so much fun with all of the other shows that go on here. So I'm not worried about you lacking on the fun side right now, but I'm hoping to bring a little more fun. This is Beckoning the Broncos. I'm your host, Kim Becker. Big Cat Gold, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining us. This is going to be a really fun show every Wednesday morning where I break down one main topic and then chat with you guys. And as you can see, I'm the only host here, so I would love for you guys to interact with me, send in questions. Love to hear what you guys are thinking. Love to hear you guys, you watched the podcast last night. And now this is the first one this morning. What did you learn last night from the podcast here on Mile High Huddle? What did you learn this morning from the one that's already been going on? So anything that you guys have questions about, let me know. I've been a Denver Broncos fan my whole life. I covered the team for a little over a year with Chad and Zach and the rest of the team at Mile High Huddle in 2020, from 2020 to 2021. And then I got a full-time job in college football, so I went and I did that. And so I'm currently still doing that, but I've missed you guys. I've missed the Denver Broncos. I've missed Mile High Huddle, and I've missed talking about the NFL. So I was really excited that Chad was able to have me back and start this new show with you guys. Thomas, congratulations on the new show. Thank you so much, Thomas. I know you're giving me shout outs yesterday too. I seriously appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll bring some guests on here every once in a while. I know you guys probably don't want to hear just me talk forever every Wednesday morning, even though I could. I'm having a blast already. My 3 favorite players on the Denver Broncos. Oh, it's hard. I know Jerry Jeudy had a rough week last week, but I really like Jerry Jeudy. I think that he is fantastic. I think that he brings a lot of excitement to that room. I think that he's someone that has been a good leader for the wide receivers, But you know who else I really like in that wide receiver room who's underrated is Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick has been kind of brushed under the rug lately, and I think that he's going to be an awesome weapon for Russell Wilson. So I do really like Jerry Jeudy, and I like Tim Patrick there. But I'm going to flip it over to the defense, Justin Simmons. So Justin Simmons, he went to BC, right? Boston College, I'm pretty sure, as a safety, and one of his coaches was a coach that I worked with at my program last year, and he spoke so highly of him in the hallways. I would tell him that, oh, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and Justin Simmons is a player that I just love watching. I love to see what he does out in the community. I love his family and how he talks about his family. And you're probably like, oh, this girl, all she talks about is the mentality thing. But it's important. Growing up as a competitive athlete, it's important to me, the mentality and how you treat other people and how you act in the community and how you show up for your team as a leader and how you show up for the other people. And I think Justin Simmons shows up as such a stand-up guy. Obviously, he's been up for the Walter Payton Award, and he's been acknowledged and recognized for what he does in the community. And I think it's incredibly important, and I think it translates over onto the field. And when he's out there and he's practicing with the guys, he's consistent. And that's something, change is inevitable, but you have to stay consistent. It's the only consistency change. And I think Justin Simmons performs really well under that. And I think Russell Wilson is they're obviously on different sides of the ball, but going to be really exciting to see together as teammates. So Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, I really like Tim Patrick. And Justin Simmons, I could go on and on though, honestly. I've got a lot of them that I'm really excited about. Watching Greg Dulcich, let's talk about him for a little bit. Watching him in his press conferences and seeing what he's going to bring to the team. I'm really excited about him and his personality. I know that there's been some hate on him on his 40 time, right? He had a slower, quote unquote, slower 40 time for a tight end. I would like to see any of us go and try to run a 40 in that. And he clapped back. And I like that because he's like, whoa, I just got here. Don't bring me down. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to the team. Brandon McManus also on Twitter. Do you guys follow Brandon McManus on Twitter? Because he's funny and I like funny. It's really fun to see what these guys say on social media and see how these guys interact with each other and interact with fans and everyone else. So I think it's just going to be so exciting. I know that Mile High Huddle, I loved Montreal, Washington's intro pressure. Oh my gosh, like Hackett, like a kid in a candy store. Nathaniel Hackett is bringing something to this team, and I think it's going to bring out the best in all of these players. And I think all these players are really invested in, which is so important, right? So important to see, so important to make sure that it's not just all a facade from the outside and that it's something that these players are really going to be bought into, because it's a long season, as we know. At Extra Game last year, we all know it's a long season. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm so excited. I wish it was September, literally tomorrow, but we have a whole summer to get through, sadly. But it's something that these guys need to stick together, the glue, right, for this team to stick together. Congratulations on your new show, Gary. Hello, Gary. Again, go Broncos, let's ride. Absolutely, go Broncos, let's ride. Big Broncos fan right here. Really excited to see what this team does, as I know all of you guys are as well. And little background, if some of you are just popping in here, I grew up in Denver, big Broncos fan. I work inside of a college football program now, which is so awesome to see. And it's something that's really opened my eyes to how teams train and how football players train and how they get to be where they are. And the mentality of Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett and all of the team around him is going to be really great. And as we all know, there's a lot of pressure on that first Monday night game, the time that the Denver Broncos will go to Lumen Field on September 12th and take on the Seattle Seahawks. And are we thinking at all about the other side, right? Russell Wilson's going to be on another sideline. He's going to be in that away locker room. And you know who's going to be in that home locker room? It's going to be Drew Lock, and it's going to be Noah Fant, and it's going to be Shelby Harris, and it's going to be all these players that will also get to meet the Denver Broncos. So a lot of pressure there. I know we're all very excited. I'm sure that we all think that they're going to do it, though. They're going to pull out that win, and it's going to be an awesome time. Golden Girl, good morning from Michigan, a fan because of Russell Wilson. I have my number 3 jersey. The question is, do you have that number 3 jersey as a Seahawks or as a Denver Bronco? I hope it's a Denver Broncos jersey, right? Number 3 there. I know a lot of people actually who were Seattle Seahawks fans, and they were so broken when Russell Wilson got traded to the Denver Broncos, but they've told me that they're Broncos fans now. And that just shows you how loyal they have been to their quarterback. And that quarterback is now going to a different conference, to a different team, to a whole different fan base, and they're still going to be fans of ours. So I think that's very exciting as well. Chris, a super sticker. Thank you so much. I'm rambling and rattling on, so I really appreciate you guys coming in here with your support and your comments and your questions. It's been so much fun already. I can't believe it's already been 25 minutes. I could do this all day. But thank you so much for popping in there, Chris. Broncos Sunrise says, "Oh, I miss Shelby." I know that was a tough one. It's tough when you see those trades and they come with things that assets, things they're not things, they're people, assets and players that you really love on your own team. But hey, we wish them all the best there. We obviously don't wish maybe their best on September 12th, though, because we are going to come home with that Denver Broncos win and the first one for Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Christos, I hope I'm saying that right. Christos, what position do you think needs improvement and depth before the season starts? Well, improvement, I mean, probably the most obvious answer is the offensive line. The most important answer is the offensive line, right? That's why we have to keep Russell Wilson up. Getting to know the offensive line and the team that I work for now, oh my goodness, they get overlooked. The hard work that they put in, the toughness just in the trenches overall is crazy. The stuff that they put their body through, the grit that they have to have, the explosive power that they have to have. I know that I think is going to be where the competition lies this year for the Denver Broncos, is on that offensive line. I know there's some movement. We're not entirely sure who's going to be at center. I think there's going to be a lot of movement there and a lot of different change, but I think that's going to be the most important position that needs improvement and that needs a lot of focus. I think that we were focused so much on the quarterback room and on the quarterback competition the last few years that the offensive line is now, obviously the quarterback position is secure, right? So now we have to make sure that we keep that quarterback secure for the entire season and that he stays healthy. So I think that offensive line is definitely going to be the most important position as a whole. I've always said left tackle is the most important position in football. I know a lot of people think that quarterback is the most important. I think left tackle, and I know a lot of people agree with me. Honestly, they're both pretty hand in hand, right? Because if you don't have a good left tackle and you have that right-handed quarterback, you might be in trouble. So I think that that's definitely where the improvement lies and where the depth needs to lie. And like we said, there are some, like I said, it's just me here. Keep forgetting that. I'm just used to saying we. There are a lot of competition aspects there and a lot of guys that could be moved around into left tackle and into right tackle. And we'll see what happens there into center. But congratulations on the new show, Jeff. I love to chat Broncos. I do too. Thank you so much. This is so fun. It's so fun having you guys in here and interacting with me already. I wasn't sure how this first one was going to go. So seeing all of you here and waking up with me in the morning and beckoning the Broncos here on Wednesday morning, Kim Becker with you guys today. So it's been awesome. It's been so much fun. I appreciate all of your guys' support. I know that Mile High Huddle has such a loyal fan base, and I'm so excited to be a part of that. It's like I'm already walking into something that's been established, and it's just so awesome. So I really appreciate all of you guys being here. I just want to say, thank you to the DWI guys, right? Ethan, thank you so much. Over in London, we spoke about how we're so excited about that London game and how we feel like we should get a meet and greet going over there. I would love that so much. Thomas, thank you for the support this morning. I appreciate it so much. I know you've always got our backs and part of the team, so I really appreciate it here at Mile High Huddle. This is so awesome, you guys. It's so fun to see. Where's my coffee, right? I've got my water. I should have had, this might have been more dangerous if I had coffee because I'd be going 100 miles an hour, right? I haven't even had coffee yet. I was too excited to get up and talk with you guys. I've got to go to my full-time job here in a bit, so I'll probably grab a coffee on my way, think about this conversation, already think about what I want to talk about next week. But I've got Doug in there. I'm going to pull you out, Doug. Hi from Butte, Montana. So a little shout out to Montana. I was actually born in Missoula, Montana. I grew up in Denver, but my mom was born and raised in Missoula. So I have a lot of family out there still. I go back every year. Love Montana. Oh my gosh. You can't beat Montana in July and August. However, the winters are tricky. So everyone, that's been moving to Montana, to Bozeman, Montana, hope you're enjoying the winters there. But Jeremy, you've been in here with the questions, and I see that. So I'm going to answer this one for you. What is your favorite Broncos memory? So I have a John Lynch jersey, a number 47 John Lynch Denver Broncos jersey. It's my prized possession. I still wear it when I go to games. I went to the LA Chargers game at SoFi Stadium, Denver Broncos, LA Chargers with my dad last year. First time at SoFi. Holy cow. Incredible. I mean, nothing beats Empower Field, of course, at Mile High. But SoFi was definitely a sight to see. And I was wearing my 47 John Lynch jersey, and so many people were, oh, John Lynch, John Lynch. I mean, he's just a legend in the Denver Broncos community, even though he's now, of course, with the 49ers, the GM over there. But I got so many shout outs from Broncos fans and John Lynch. And I remember getting that jersey. I think I was literally like 12 years old. But it's my favorite memory because it's something that's now lived for 20 years. I'm just going to age myself right there. It's been my biggest Broncos prized possession. It's my favorite memory receiving that jersey back when I was young and a spry young Broncos fan, had no idea what was ahead of me being a Broncos fan. So that's one of my favorite memories is getting that jersey and still wearing it to this day. Another one of my favorite memories, when I was traveling in Europe with Disney on Ice, I was in Oslo, Norway, when the Denver Broncos were playing the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game in 2016 before they headed to the Super Bowl. And I stayed up and I watched the game by myself in my hotel room in Oslo, Norway. And I'll never forget it. I was watching it on my computer. It was like 2 a.m. because, of course, all of my across the pond and overseas Denver Broncos fans know this. You got to stay up to the wee hours in the morning and watch the Denver Broncos if you want to watch it live. So I was watching the game about 2 a.m. in Oslo, and I was sitting there. I'd already skated 3 shows. So we had 3 shows on Sundays. So I'd skated 3 shows, came home, showering in my pajamas, like hair wet in a bun, just like probably eating Cheetos because I like Cheetos, and probably drinking a beer and watching the game at 2 a.m. And it was so much fun to see them beat the New England Patriots and Tom Brady at 2 a.m. in Oslo, Norway. I remember screaming. I think Facebook was still, up and running back then. We were all doing our statuses. So I like put a status of how excited I was, Omaha, I was screaming Omaha in my hotel room, but I was watching on my computer and I could see downtown Oslo just over my computer. And I was like, this is so crazy. I'm in Oslo, Norway, and I'm rooting for the Denver Broncos, who just won the AFC Championship at 2 a.m. and beat Tom Brady and are going to the Super Bowl. So that was also a really cool memory of mine because I just realized that even when I quit skating and even when I wasn't traveling anymore, I still wanted the Denver Broncos to always be a part of my life. And I knew I was always going to be a fan. So this has been such a great outlet for me to express both of those things, being such a passionate fan and also just loving football and talking football and being able to do it as a hobby that turned into a job. And I hope for it to be my career for the rest of my life. So it's just really exciting there. Ethan, you say nice memory. I love that game. Oh my gosh, it was such a good game. Literally, the smile on my face is genuinely how I feel. Oh my gosh, it was just the coolest thing. So we got a Raider fan in here. Raider Nation for life. I'm a Raider fan for life, but I like your content and I stream. Thank you so much. Little story about being a Raider fan. So I grew up obviously in Denver as a hashtag Raider hater. That's something that we all say, but I'm not anymore. I also had the opportunity in 2020 when I came on with Sports Illustrated to cover the Las Vegas Raiders. And it was so hard and so weird in the beginning because I grew up such a fan of the Denver Broncos and was like, I would never be that traitor. I'll never go to the other side and be a Las Vegas Raiders fan. But learning about that team and learning about those players and Derek Carr and everybody, I also became a little bit of a Raiders fan. So, of course, I'm always going to be a Denver Broncos fan first. The AFC West is absolutely stacked this year, but it is probably the number one priority for the Denver Broncos to be atop the AFC West this coming season. And I know that's going to be tough with the Las Vegas Raiders and the moves that they made, but I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate you saying that you're enjoying the stream. Thank you so much. I'm sure you just skimmed over it, but I really appreciate it. But guys, it's been so much fun having you all here today. I've probably got to wrap it up. Like I said, I could probably talk on and on, but the AFC West could have 4 out of the top 5 records in the could have 4 of the top 5 records in the whole AFC. I completely agree. It's a stacked division. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with them, but we're so excited. I know that the Denver Broncos, that's going to be the number one priority, right? Respect all, fear none. Let's go. Let's ride. Very excited. Thanks so much, Brandon, for that one. Appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Really enjoying having all of you guys in the stream today and in the comments. Really appreciate it. Denver Broncos for life. This was Beckoning the Broncos. I'm Kim Becker. I'll be here every Wednesday morning. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking. Thanks for the shout outs. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the stars. I know what Mile High Huddle has here is so awesome and such a loyal fan base being included. And I just feel really lucky to be included in it as well. So thank you guys so much. The first of many. That is right, Dylan. Appreciate it. Ethan, thank you so much over from London. Thanks to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Make sure that you guys are liking everything and make sure that you're subscribing to everything at Mile High Huddle. What these guys do is so awesome. I know they have a lot of new merch on their website as well. I've seen some of it. Going to get some myself. Really exciting things going on, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. So appreciate you guys all. Go Broncos. Have an awesome day.